Happy Friday! Welcome to today's live stream. For those of you who are new, my name is TJ and I stream flight sim adventures every Wednesday and Friday at 1 PM UTC. Today we're flying the Tupolev TU-154. It's a Russian airliner from the 1960s with a reputation for complex systems and one of the worst aviation safety records ever. So, what better plane to fly from Moscow, where England won their last 16 game of the World Cup, to Samara in time for their quarter-final match. So, here we go, guys. First of all, we need to switch on our ground power on this wonderful plane here. There we are. We've got our little truck driving up there. So, shall we hop inside? So this is our flight deck here. Look at that beautiful Soviet style there. Let's pop over to the engineers panel. We need to get 4 batteries on. 1, 2, 3 and 4. External power can come on. We need to get the inverters on. There we go, 1 and 2. And we've also got some lights to turn on here. We'll turn our panel lights, cockpit lights on right there. Okay, what else do we have? We have to load our aircraft, so we'll go to load and we'll put in 100% passenger load. Our distance today, we're going to be cruising at 30,000 feet. Our fuel today needs to be a little bit more because we just need to get our weight. We need to get our weight in green here. So there we are. Lovely. So we've got enough fuel on there for 1,000 kilometers at 30,000 feet and some alternate airport fuel there. So we'll load the fuel. And we'll load our passengers. There we go. Okay, so we have to attach some more things here. So we'll take the sensor covers off. We'll take the engine covers off there. We need to turn on the fire warning system. Good morning, Mr. P. How are you doing, sir? It's sort of early afternoon here. Early afternoon. Okay, we need to turn on our beacon lights, our nav lights, what else? Our tail light. Cool. So back to the engineer panel. We need to start our APU, start the APU crank, and we'll hold the start button down. There we go. So our APU is starting up. Right there, guys. Look at this. In England, it is 2 PM, sir. 2 PM. So we'll look at that beautiful, beautiful Tupolev plane. Slightly dirty because it's like an old, very old plane, but it's a beautiful looking aircraft. So our APU is at normal speed, so we'll need to connect it to our systems. We'll turn our generators over to APU, phases C, generator APU, phases C. There we go. We need to turn on the electric pumps for our hydraulic system. And we'll need to turn on our air pressure system, which is under a flap right here. Cool. So we'll pop up top and we'll get our artificial horizon turned on. Back to the hydraulics panel. Okay, on our hydraulic system panel, we need to start charging the hydraulic system. You'll see the pressure coming up here. So we need to wait for this to rise before we can start charging the emergency brake system. So far essentially what we've done, we've loaded the aircraft with fuel and passengers, we've connected the external power, started our APU, and we're just building up the air pressure. Cool, so we need to charge. You can see as you charge your emergency brake, the pressure in the other parts drops slightly. So just need to wait until the pressure's back up there. And there we go. Let's get charging that emergency brake right there. Lovely, so all our lights are off, that's fine. We'll turn off the charge system and we'll turn the electric pumps off right there. So now we're on APU power, we can turn the external power off. We can disconnect our ground power and we'll remove our gearblocks as well. So back to our overhead, guys. We need to get our radio altimeters on, 1 and 2, and we'll turn on our cockpit voice recorder. Turn on the flight recorder here, 1, 2, 3, just in case it all goes wrong and people have to work out what happens. Okay, let's look at our fuel system here. We'll turn the tanks on, 2, 3, 4, there we go, and we'll get these switches on down here, 1, 2, 3, there we are. So our fuel pumps are on for tanks 2 and 3. Service tank is on. Equalizer row is all flicked up and on here. Fantastic. Okay, so we'll get our engine instruments on. 1, 2, and 3. Such a long process, guys. Make yourself a cup of tea. So that's why these planes used to have and still do have a flight engineer. So on our APU panel, we need to start the APU bleed. We'll hold that until ready to start goes off. There we are, lovely. Okay, so we can pop to our overhead again, turn VHF 1 and 2 on. We just need to check if we have any ATC before we start our engines here. Nothing today, okay, that is fine. So in that case, we'll keep them tuned to Unicom. Alright, so do we need to push back here? We do not, because we are just taxiing forwards and taking it right over to the runway. So let's start these engines. So we'll get this over to, we'll get main and start on. We'll select engine 1.
Grounding, cabs and tail rod removed. Ready for start.
Start engine 1.
Starting engine
2. Oh, whatever. We'll start 2 first.
Starting 2.
1, 2, 3. We'll start engine 2 first, and then we'll do 1 and do 1 and 3. So engine 2 is our engine in the middle. So that's up to 20%. We need to introduce fuel. There we are, lovely. So now engine 2 has fuel, it's starting up nicely. Okay, so we need to connect engine 2 power to the aircraft. So we'll click this down to 2. Phases are C, 1, 2. And we'll also need to pop that one up there. Lovely, so we're taking power from engine 2, guys. We'll test these 2 as well while we're here. Okay, so that's engine 2 started. Let's do the same for engine 1.
Starting engine 1. Got it. Starting 1.
Okay, again, we'll wait till that hits 20%. Introduce fuel. And we can see engine 1 is starting up right here. Happy days, guys, happy days. We might start this plane after all. So there we are, cool. So we need to get a generator dialed down to 1, phases to A, generator dial to 1, phases to A, start taking power from engine 1. Lovely. Okay, last one, engine number 3. Alrighty, I think we're back. I don't know what is going on with Streamlabs. I don't know why it is doing this, but we are here. We are back, guys. We are back. Now, so what we've just done is we have started engine number 3. As revs came up to 20%, we introduced fuel to engine number 3. So now we just need to start taking power from engine number 3. So we'll get the generator dial over to 3, guys. Phases stay on A. Generators over 2, 3, and there we go.
Generators connected to the main bus. Turn on systems. Ground. Engines running. Flight controls checked. Switch to visual control. Over. Disconnecting. Have a good flight.
That's it. So our engines are started, guys. Fantastic. So on our top left panel here, we can disconnect the APU and turn the APU bleeds off. And as soon as the APU bleeds, the APU panel says ready to start, we can flick that back to there we go, back to its center position. Shut down the APU, and we'll turn the APU start off. So we are now running off engine power in our Tupolev. So now we need to open the engine bleed. We need to open our mass air supply and get those on. We need to start pressurizing. Just need to hold the left one until the pressure in the cabin increases. There we are. And do the same with the right. So many dials and switches in this plane. And there we are. So 2 and 3. So this will get our cabin pressure going, guys. This will get our cabin pressure going. And we'll turn the temperature regulators over to auto, 3 and 5. And we'll get these dials over to 0. Here we are. Okay, so we need to stop that. We need to check our cabin pressure. So the middle one should be 650, and pressure difference should be 0.6, which it is. Lovely. So we turn on the ice detect, which is here. Get out of the way. Stupid thing. There we are. Turn on the ice detect, and we'll put our anti-ice on just in case. Okay, over to the overhead panel now, guys. We've got our engine started. We've done the flight engineer stuff. Let's start our systems. So VSI, angle of attack indicator, turn indicator, attitude, power, FTI left and right, BG ref, compass power, magnetic correction 1 and 2, VOR, ILS goes on, IAS system goes on, GPS goes on, VSI right goes on, TCAS goes on, PPE M1 goes on, course MP 1 and 2 can also go on. There we go. These two can go on here. Stabilizers 1 and 2 can go on. High frequency radios 1 and 2. Go audio. And VBE N2. Turn the Doppler power on. And we'll turn our nav systems on here. Turn the cabin signs in the middle on. Window heat. Too low, and pitot heat on. There we go. Turn these dials over to comp. Okay, so that's engine started. That's our instruments on. We just need to pop down here. So we've got our latitude here, which is about 55 degrees. So we need to dial this in, tell the aircraft where it is. 50. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn this over to magnetic. We need to adjust this. Basically, this kind of resets our heading indicators, so they're always pointing in the right direction. So there we go. Let's get this adjusted there. Cool. Let's flick this over to correction and adjust again. So this will sort out all of our heading indicators. I think the one on the left and the one at the bottom. Do the same. I believe this one sorts out the heading indicator on the right hand side. So we'll get these adjusted. There we go. Pop this back to its default. Let's pop down here and check. Our heading indicators should be sort of roughly lined up now. So in between 12 and 15 for these. Cool, it is. Fantastic. So we'll pop down to the main pedestal. Hydraulic buses go on. And we'll need to turn on autopilot systems. So we need to flick the attitude one on and off. You just kind of need to restart that to make sure it works. APFD. There we go. That will make sure our autopilot works. Pop down for pedestal, guys. Get the indicator needles for the flight director on the artificial horizon. Turn on nav mode. Turn on roll and pitch autopilot. Turn on our weather radar. And once our weather radar has started, we need to flick this over so it displays our weather. Just wait for that. Anytime you like. So once again, guys, if you missed the start of the stream, we're flying from Moscow to Samara, which is the location of England's World Cup quarter-final. There we go. So our squawk panels, guys, we're squawking 1103 because that is our flight number, and we'll get this over to TARA. Okay, so we need to reset our angle of attack indicator. There we are. We need to set our altimeters. So we need to get this over to display in feet. Okay, the altimeter here today is 1003. And I'm also going to dial in our cruising altitude so we'll get an alert when we reach it. 30,000. Do the same on the other side here, guys. Get that over 2 feet. Go 1003 or 3, and we're dialing 30,000 on this side as well. There we go, 30,000. Cool. So we need to set our flight deck altimeters, the other altimeters, to match what this digital one is saying. So this needs to say about 405 feet. Cool, lovely. And we'll do the same over the other side, which is it's just down here, that one. Yeah, fine, that seems to line up. Okay, cool. Russian Tupolev Alexander, exactly, man. Super hardcore came in. So we've started the engines up. I think most of the engine start procedure was in this video, but we had sort of a hiccup with Streamlabs, so YouTube will have put up sort of an earlier video sort of showing the full engine start procedure. So between the last video and this one, you should be able to see the entire start procedure for the Tupolev. So we need to set our engineer altimeter to match about 405. There we go. Okay, let's extend our landing lights here. Set our flaps.
Flaps extended. Slots extended. Stabilizer.
We're not going to bother with the ILS approach at Samara. We're just going to sort of fly it visually, so we don't need to tune these.
-1.5. Slots extended.
Okay, so let's get our flight plan into the GPS. So MVU GPS to GPS, so the nav systems will follow that. Get our terrain radar over to a map. We need to load in our flight plan here, guys. So we'll just pop down and find our plan. There we are, lovely. Russia's stream plan, perfect. Shh, it's fine. Right, there we are. So we've loaded in our flight plan here, guys. Fantastic. Let's just check that. Yeah, this all seems fine. Okay, flight plan loaded into the GPS. Navigation system is over to GPS. Terrain radar set to terrain. We need to activate our auto throttle system, so we need to flip that up and prepare it. We'll turn the MVU power on, and we'll pop this autopilot into MVU for nav mode. Okay, guys, so we're ready to go. Plane is very difficult. Yeah, I can start it. I can. I've been practicing. I've been successful when I've tried to fly it, so hopefully we should be fine. Yeah, it's actually fairly easy to land.
John 63 is on. Right side
okay.
clear, ready for taxi.
There's taxi 2 for runway.
Clear. Attention, starting taxi.
This one, so some of the Tupolevs, Alexander, some of the Tupolevs were retrofitted with GPS units. I know it has the...
Indicator and compass check.
I know it also has the traditional sort of MVU navigation. But yeah, some of the Tupolevs have been fitted with GPS that's tied into that system. So it's, you know, it's not unrealistic. So yeah, the nav system, just like the real Tupolevs but have been retrofitted with GPS, the nav system will follow the GPS plan that's been laid out. Yeah, maybe I think at some point we will do a flight with the traditional MVU system as well. But this is just sort of an introduction to the Tupolev and its systems. I think it's kind of complicated enough as it is, without introducing MVU in this video as well, man. Okay, so we're going over to runway 12 at Zhukovsky International here.
Brakes check. Okay.
Alright, so on we go onto the apron here, guys. Got a few bits to sort out once we get onto the runway. Hey Andrei, welcome. I'm glad you could make a stream. I'm glad your exams went well as well, dude. I'm glad your exams went well. So here we go. Onto the runway we go, guys.
Approaching 12.
Oh, fair enough, Alex. I thought when I read Wikipedia, it said that some Tupolevs had been fitted with GPS. But no, that's fair enough. We will also do an MVU flight. But yeah, the engine start stuff has all been realistic, and you know, I thought the GPS was representative of planes that had been retrofitted. But fair enough, we'll do an MVU flight as well at some point in the future then. Okay, so we need to set our wheel steering limit to 10 degrees. Close the flap. Gonna set some takeoff trim as well now, guys. There we go. Okay, so for some reason it still gives me a takeoff config light.
On runway 12.
I still haven't worked out quite why. Hopefully someone can educate me, but yeah, I think we're good to go anyway. So, ready? This is a payware plane. Yes, it is. It's for Felis Planes payware Tupolev. Okay, here we are, guys. Here we go.
200. 220. We're one.
Rotate.
Positive rate.
Positive rate, guys. Gear up.
Gear going up.
Let's get the flaps up. Let's get this trimmed into a nice climb here, guys. Get it trimmed into climb. The angle of attack does like to get out of control sometimes. Okay, let's get it trimmed. There we go. Okay, let's hit the stabilizer button. Let's get our autopilot going on here, guys. Okay, so we just need to keep an eye on this angle of attack here. Just make sure it doesn't get too far out of control. What I'm going to do, guys, is we're going to stick with the flight deck view for most of our climb. Literally just so I can keep an eye on the angle of attack. There we go, we've got some nice photo scenery out of this window as well. Speed's looking good, angle is looking good, so we're climbing out. We can always trim our angle of attack if it gets a little bit wild. touch wood, we should be okay. So we're on our way up to our cruising altitude of 30,000 feet now, guys. Once we get to 30,000 feet, we'll put our auto throttles on and we'll hold Mach 0.8 to.
Altimeter setting.
Good point. Altimeters go over to standard pressure. Standard pressure. There we are. Yeah, this is it's not the cheapest payware aircraft, but I think it was only something like £30. But it's for sort of a depth of systems that you get. You know, apart from the GPS, which may or may not have been retrofitted to actual Tupolevs, the depth of the system you get is amazing, and I think fairly accurate from what I've seen of videos. Does it have the original autopilot where you need to set roll and pitch? Yes, it does. Yeah, so it's obviously got this. There's no VNAV on it at all, but yeah, it's got our roll and pitch modes here. So it's got the MVU button that would follow if you were using the MVU. It would follow the MVU coordinates here. So obviously that, you know, that's roll mode. You can follow the MVU on roll mode, and what we have on this one, obviously the roll mode has been tied to the GPS here. So yeah, it's got the sort of the real autopilot systems I think that Tupolev's had, as far as I'm aware. Roll modes and MVU, but yeah, you can obviously also, you've got your sort of manual roll and pitch modes here as well. You can hold pitch, hold speed using pitch, and you can hold your roll angle. We might be using that a little bit later on as well. Okay, we need to get this trimmed down now before the angle of attack gets a little bit steep. Let's just get it trimmed down. I don't know why, it's sort of a weird characteristic of this plane that sort of the higher up you get, the angular attack tends to increase and creeps towards that red zone there, which is never good. But I think we're good. Okay, back to looking out the window, guys, just keeping an eye on the angle of attack here. Got photo scenery for the entire journey, I believe, here today, guys. And once we have reached our top of climb, we should be able to take in the views as well. And there we are. So our flight today should be about excuse me, should be about an hour and 40 minutes. We fly from Moscow out to Samara. Climb rate is looking good. Yeah, climb rate is looking fine. It's following MVU or nav mode tied to the GPS at the moment. It's a really nice plane. It's a really nice plane. Again, once we've climbed, we'll do a tour of the fully modelled cabin as well, guys. We'll tour the cabin. I expect it's really nicely modelled, and we'll take in some more details in the flight deck as well. And there we go. It's just something a little bit different. I wanted to learn a plane that wasn't just like a Boeing or an Airbus, because they all tend to be quite similar. So I wanted to learn something different. So I picked this Tupolev, which is an incredibly complex plane and different to anything else that I've flown. But I definitely recommend it. Hopefully my stream today will sort of be a useful tutorial on how to get the thing started and into the air for anyone who finds this afterwards. Who knows, it may even end up being a useful tutorial on how to fly and land it. So on this one, green is meters, and orange is feet. But yeah, there's obviously the button to reset the altimeter, which we've done when we reached our transition level. But yeah, this is sort of a meters and feet switch in this plane. Do you know, Alexander, why I was still getting the takeoff config message? Because I had my flaps set. You know, you saw sort of everything being set. But yeah, do you know why I was still getting that takeoff config message on the annunciator? I still haven't been able to work it out myself. Because as far as I could see from the tutorials and the manuals, everything was set correctly. But there we go. Alright, we've got about 6 and a bit thousand feet before we reach our top of the climb. And then we can put it in altitude hold mode. And we can start checking out some of the views from the outside and the cabin and the flight deck and all of the cool features of this plane as well. Luckily there's not a lot of cloud cover, so we can see the scenery below quite nicely, which is lovely. Angle of attack is still looking good, just keep an eye on that. There we are. Awesome, guys. Awesome. Now, I don't tend to see a lot of people fly the Tupolev on streams. Maybe they're all just scared of it. Because I crashed it a lot. I did crash it a lot when I was learning to fly it. Mostly because of the angle of attack sort of coming out of safe range. Most tutorials, even if you make tutorials, most pilots will not fly it. Because it's old-fashioned, not because it's old-fashioned, but because it's complex. Yeah, I quite enjoyed learning the complex systems though. I enjoyed learning sort of the complexities of the flight engineer panel, and I do like sort of old-fashioned planes, old-fashioned complex planes. The reason I like this one compared to sort of the older Boeing stuff is that this one has an auto throttle, so you can still put your auto throttle on at cruise, because it's an absolute headache when you're cruising if you don't have an auto throttle. So for me this is sort of just the right amount of old-fashioned complexity, and but sort of having that modern or almost modern sort of hand holding with the auto throttle and that kind of thing. It's perfect. It's perfect for me. Like I say, we'll try and fly it more, and I will try and do a flight using the MVU, just with the coordinate system as well, for sure. Okay, we are... Of course, our altimeter hasn't been reset, so it's still inaccurate, but we'll follow this one here. We're not too far off our top of climb now, guys. Just gonna keep the angle of attack under control. Stupid thing. Jesus. It likes to, it does like to try and kill you. It does like to try and kill you, this aircraft. And it's, you know, I guess its accident rate is a reflection of that. Just keep this trimmed while we climb. I don't know what the service ceiling of this thing is. He called them alarm clocks because the analog cages look like it without electronic displays. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, they do remind me of, there's lots of old analog clocks in here, aren't there, for sure. There we go. Getting our tone when we come up to 30,000 feet here. So we know that works at least. And once we've hit 30,000, we'll go to altitude hold mode. I'm using the 2D panel just so I have access to it. There we go. 30,000 feet, guys. but obviously it's reflected down here in the actual cabin as well. So I'm just going to wait till the speed increases now to about Mach 0.8. At the moment we are still in full throttle here, guys. But there we go. Your favourite is MD-80 or MD-82. Not many fly it. You've fallen in love with it. You love to not use the FMC, instead making a manual flight using radio navigation. Awesome, man. You love GA? Yeah, I like GA, but nobody watches it. So, you know, people like seeing people flying airliners, I think. Did I try the MD-80 or 82? I haven't. I will do, though. I've heard it's got custom systems. I've heard the sounds aren't very good. But I do know it has custom systems, I think. So, yeah, I think I'll try it out. I haven't really looked too closely at it, but I'll try it out in the next sale. I would say. Hello, Greek Warrior Gamer. How you doing? Welcome to the stream, sir. I hope you're enjoying what you're seeing so far. We've just hit top of climb on our flight to Samara here from Moscow. We're just going to step through this flight plan so we know when to descend as well, guys. 60, 80 miles, cool. Tuno, Rubek. Probably start descending around Rubek, I would say, on this flight here today. Makes sense, lovely. Okay, speed is coming up here, guys. Speed is coming up, and once we've popped our auto throttle on, we can start exploring the plane a little bit and taking a look and kind of admiring this fine aircraft by Mr. Felis Planes. Alexander, I also, on an earlier stream, if you're interested, I also flew the Blackbird, SR-71 Blackbird. You might want to take a look at that. People don't like GA. You had some people who said, finally someone streaming GA. If you love GA, stream it, please. Yeah, awesome, man. I'm flying together. Cool, why not, dude? Why not? We'll, there we go. Let's get our auto throttles on now, guys, at Mach 0.8. I do not play Infinite Flight. No, I just play X-Plane. Yeah, GA doesn't tend to do very well. It doesn't seem to be that popular when I stream it. I tend to get more views for airliners. I know I'm a very small channel, but it's just starting out. But I do tend to get a lot more views for airliners as well. So it's just how it is, man. It's just how it is. All right. So what do we want to see, guys? What do we want to see? First of all, let's take a nice look, another look at this nice sort of Soviet-style flight deck here, guys, and we'll take a wander through into the cabin. Here we go. So it's a really well-modelled cabin. All these nice sort of Aeroflot branded seats as well. We just look down here, we've got our galley, which is quite nicely modelled. There's nothing behind that curtain, unfortunately. Maybe it's like a crew rest area, I'm not sure. And we head into the rear cabin here. It's a single class cabin, single class aircraft. And literally at the back is just the toilets, guys. There we go. So let's head back to the flight deck now. I love a plane with a fully modelled cabin. I think it makes it a lot more realistic. Just pause here and we can see this nice sort of Aeroflot branded in-flight magazines as well, which is a very cool touch. Most people prefer airliners. When you made VFR in the UK, showing you how to fly visually, explaining the rules. People were thankful. Yeah, not a lot of people do sort of visual VFR stuff and VOR to VOR navigation. I don't. The thing is, when I fly GA, I fly IFR and I use the nav mode. So yeah, I still try and, you know, I'm too tied to my airliner way of flying to fly the VOR stuff and to fly the to fly completely visually. So Alex, if you want to drop into the Discord, we can sort out flying together sometime, man, or something. That'd be cool. Assuming Nightbot is awake today. So let's take a look off. That is not the wing view, guys. That is the wing view. There we are. Let's take a look off our wings there. So the engines, it looks like the engines are not turning, but they are. These are static engine covers that the Tupolev has. But we'll take in some nice. Yeah, I do prefer IFR and instrument flying. I'm very much, the reason I enjoy flight sim is the systems. I like learning the systems and sort of watching. You know, you plan your flight, you program the systems, and then you just kind of watch your flight sort of come together as you planned it. I find that really satisfying to learn those systems. It's also always fun to do like an auto land in no visibility whatsoever. It's always kind of cool to see the computer land the plane. We're landing manually today, of course. But yeah, I feel like this plane here, this Tupolev, it has enough automation to satisfy me, and obviously the complexity of the engineers panel, I really enjoy that. Guys, excuse me, the Amazon man is here. 2 seconds, thank you. There we go, the Amazon man is just on his way up, guys. I'm just going to leave you for 2 seconds. I will be right back. Keep watching. I will in a second, Alex. I will. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I am back. I am back. The Amazon man has delivered his parcel. So, I see we've reached some clouds. Air conditioning system, Alex. Yep. Okay, air conditioning system. So you've got your. I did this. I think YouTube has uploaded it as a separate video, but I did the sort of setup of this earlier. It should be there if you want to watch it. So cabin pressure is set here. Apparently the correct values here are 650 and 0.6 for pressure and pressure difference. You've also got the mass air supply here, which we pressurized as part of our engine start procedures. And we've also got temperature controls just over here, so you can see there it's about what is it now, times 10C, about 20 degrees, 30 degrees. So yeah, we've set all our temperature controls to okay, so I think we're back again, guys. Once again, my apologies. I don't know why Streamlabs does this. It will just exit for no reason whatsoever sometimes. Stupid Streamlabs. There we go. Please refresh the page, guys. And we are, yeah, so I've just explained the aircon system. Hopefully you saw that, Alex. Hopefully you saw the aircon stuff. If you didn't, just drop me a message and I'll explain it again for you, man. So yeah, so that's the air conditioning system. We are cruising now 30,000 feet on our way to Samara, guys. On our way to Samara. Alright, so we've done our cabin tour, we've seen the plane. I've explained the aircon system. Shall we take a look outside, guys? There we go. This is the Tupolev TU-154, guys. So if you want to see the sort of the engine start and the earlier parts of this flight, I think YouTube has probably archived them, so they'll be available on my channel, guys. We are currently at 30,000 feet cruising towards Samara in Russia, and it's not that we can see it, but we have photo scenery the entire way, guys. Okay, so the plan here is to descend around Rubec. Yeah, did not want to do that. There we go. Yeah, so we will descend. Then once we reach Tunol. So once we reach Tunol for Rubec. And that should put us about 100 miles or so from the airport, which is cool. And that's where we currently are. Lovely, lovely, guys. Okay, I hope you guys made it back after that stupid Streamlabs doing its stupid thing that it does. Sometimes for no apparent reason, it will just exit. Who knows? But anyway, back to flying, back to the Tupolev, guys. As we head off towards our next waypoint here. Shall we take in some wing views again, so we can admire some clouds, guys? There we are. So I got all this nice photo scenery for the entire way, and we end up with we end up with clouds as usual. As I was saying earlier, Alex, if you're still here, when I fly GA, I like looking at the scenery. I like we actually get to see the scenery, whereas in airliners, a lot of the time you are in heavy cloud cover. So yeah, it does make a difference, man. It does make a difference. Flying GA, you definitely get to see a lot more scenery for sure. So any more questions, guys, just pop them into the chat. I'll say hello. If you like what you're seeing, please drop us a like, and if you want to see more, please drop a subscription. That would be amazing. Thank you. What else do we want to see, guys? What else do we want to see on this Tupolev? We've seen the flight deck, we've seen the cabin, we've seen it from outside, taking in some wing views here. And there we are. Good Tupolev, guys. I do hope it's quite a nice view, actually. There we are. Let's grab a nice flight deck view there for a little bit while we're in this horrible cloud cover, guys. As you can see, we've got our auto throttle set, nav mode on, tied to the GPS. And we're holding our altitude at the moment at 30,000 feet. So yeah, still Mach 0.8. Auto throttle is working well today. I think for once these two heading indicators have actually lined up correctly as well, which is always good to see. All that config stuff we did at the start, which is either at the start of this video or in an earlier video that YouTube's just archived. We lined up the heading indicators because you have to do all that stuff manually. Our altimeters are still a few hundred feet separated from each other because we reset this one to standard pressure, but this one we did not. Such a weird analog plane, you have to set everything manually, pretty much, guys. So about 200 miles away, a ground speed of almost 500 knots, which is pretty cool. Very cool indeed. Such an amazing plane, all the systems on this. It's a beautiful plane. I love it, and I should fly it more often for sure. There we go, let's just check these waypoints here. We're flying towards Tunnel at the moment. We're about 120 miles from our top of descent here, guys. About 120 miles from our descent. Also, just check out this this flight deck detail here. You can see this radar unit. They've literally just cut a hole in the panel in the real plane. Someone's just cut a hole in the panel and shoved this radar unit in here. So you can see all the bare wiring behind it, which I think is a nice touch there in the virtual plane. Slightly unsettling to see all the wires that make the plane work sort of exposed, but there we go. You can see our auto throttles there are moving about nicely. Not having to do a lot of correction because I believe the wind is fairly calm. So they're moving about quite nicely here. Keeping us at Mach 0.8 now. And I think, guys, we might just be coming out of these clouds as well. We're certainly going to descend through them in 100 miles or so. Okay. Let's pop out back to the wings. We can see our engine covers there, and the view off the wing of this Tupolev. Given that we've only got about 100 miles to cover with our current speed, it really shouldn't take us too long to hit our top of descent here. Cool. There we go. Good stuff. Hey, and there's some scenery coming into view here as well off the nose here, guys. Awesome. Awesome. See if we can look off the nose here. There we are. It's quite a nice view, actually. We'll stick with that for a little bit. Look at this nice photo scenery as we head over Russia. I like to think maybe we're delivering the England team safely to their next game. Who knows? I hope it's safely anyway. It's not like the most spectacular mountain scenery in Russia, for sure. There's lots of green fields in the middle of the country here. Lots of green fields. It's just like England, really. Endless green fields. and farmland. Let's grab an outside view of this amazing looking, this really cool retro looking plane. And there we are. We'll stay with this view for a little bit as well, guys. I'm certainly enjoying these views here. Certainly enjoying these views. Really quite nice looking at the Russian airliner over Russia there. Okay, 50 miles from our top of descent now, guys. 50 miles from our top of descent. Heading in a nice straight line east at the moment. For anyone who missed it, check out the cabin once more. Just do a very quick sweep through the cabin here of this wonderful Felis plane's Tupolev. Little kitchen. And a completely standard class cabin as well. As well as the it's detailed sort of right down to these Aeroflot leaflets, which is quite nice. We'll see if we can grab a seat. Where do we want to sit, guys? Sit just off the wings. Not too far off the wings. There we are. That's it's kind of cool, actually. That is kind of cool, that view. I like it. Nice clear skies and calm winds today. It's a good season to be flying in. As we head towards winter, in the sort of the last third of this year, as we head towards winter, I'm sure we'll experience many interesting weather conditions as well. So annoyed at Streamlabs though. So annoyed at Streamlabs, man. It works fine, you stream, everything is good, and then suddenly it will just exit for no reason, and it's only been doing it for the last few updates. The only time you notice is when your webcam goes off. It's absolutely infuriating, and of course then YouTube punishes you and doesn't advertise when the stream sort of picks up again. It doesn't advertise it as well. So it is irritating being bowled out by a computer, but whatever. The point is that, you know, people are watching it now, people are watching it in the future. I hope it all serves as sort of, you know, some nice scenery, but also useful tutorial and stuff on how to fly this Tupolev as well. We are of course flying online on VATSIM. There's no controllers on at the moment. Shall we go and sit in? Ah, look at that! You can see the. You can just imagine the kid kicking the back of your seat there, can't you? Nice, nice. Let us see if we can grab a seat by these magnificent engines. I would say this row here. Ooh. Now that is a view and a half, guys. That is a view and a half. Nice. Absolutely awesome. In fact, I'm going to set this as my main wing view, because that's a really nice view. You get a lot of the engine, a nice view of the scenery, and also sort of the detail of that seat as well. It's really nice. Love it guys. We'll watch for landing from this view as well. I think that'll be interesting for sure. Can't believe how good that view is. It's amazing. I just wish you didn't have the engine covered so you would see the fan blades turning. Also, cool features of this Fearless Tupolev. You can select your cameras here. Got a little phone app which lets you convert units. I'll move this so it's not in front of my face. You've got a phone app where you can convert units if you need to do that. You've got your airspeed and your sort of bank angle listed there. There's also you can enter this and get the weather for your destination. All very cool stuff. Checklists are available if you want them here, as well as, I can't drag this one, but there is approach speeds and takeoff speeds available to you there as well. Very cool. So where are we? Excellent guys, top of descent. Let us begin. Okay, we'll pop down to our autopilot here. Gonna drop the throttles, guys. Just make sure we're in nav mode, and we're going to just drop our trim here. So we get about 5 degrees of nose down, guys. There we are, 5 degrees of nose down. I'm going to put the spoilers down as well, just to control our speed as we descend. There we are. So we are now descending from 30,000 feet. We'll head down to 10,000 level off and make sure we're below 250 knots. So the process for top of descent is that the throttles go back to idle. You need to go from altitude hold to pitch mode. So the way I do that is by turning pitch mode off and then on again. And then reactivating the autopilot and the MVU, the nav buttons, and then you'll be in nav modes with no altitude hold set, and then you can trim the descend wheel, the climb descend wheel. You can trim that down to about 5 degrees nose down and start your descent. And then I arm the spoilers, or I drop the spoilers as well, just to keep our speed under control as we descend. So that's our top of descent done. Heading down to 10,000 feet where we'll level off and make sure we are below 250 knots. Hello, Mr. Clashers, welcome back after many days. I'm very good, thank you. We're flying the Tupolev, a Russian airliner. We're flying it across Russia. We're flying it from where England had their last World Cup match in Moscow, and we're flying it to where they have their quarter-final match in Samara. We've just hit our top of descent, and I've just kind of explained the descent procedure. We are now descending to 10,000 feet, ready for our arrival here. How are you, Mr. Clashers? I hope you're. I hope all is well, man. I hope all is well. So there we go. All looks good here. Let's pop back to this lovely passenger view for a minute. Just get rid of that menu for now, so it's not in our way too. It would be cool if this had like in-flight announcements in Russian. That would be pretty awesome. Little announcements as you flew your plane. That'd be amazing. Such a complex plane to fly, this one. You've really kind of got to be awake for every stage. It's nicer to do longer flights in this. It's got the range of a 757, so it's designed for sort of medium haul flights. It would be very nice to do a medium haul flight in this, because we could spend a lot of time at cruise just kind of appreciating the views. But it keeps it more interesting in the video if it's a short flight and we are sort of constantly messing about with the systems. So like I say, photo scenery all the way. Some of it higher quality than others, but it's just what's available on Bing and also for XP, which are really good for sort of the Western world. But as soon as you start heading east, it gets a little bit patchy for sure. So our next flight on Wednesday, guys, I'm not sure what we're doing. I guess if England's get knocked out of the World Cup, we can fly them home. as we're in Russia. We'll see. We will see what we fly. I really want the Tupolev 444, sort of a concept supersonic airliner. Just waiting until I can redeem my reward points for it, and then we can fly a supersonic plane again. Altitude is 11,000 feet here, guys. We need to get ready to pop on our altitude hold at 10,000 now. Of course, all these buttons are available in the virtual cockpit, but I like having access to them, so I've opened the 2D panel, which is super useful. Okay, about 10,000 feet, guys. We're going to try and hold this here. Once we've hit 250 knots, guys, we will hold our speed with our auto throttle. There we go. Lovely. We'll just let that stabilize at about 250 knots before we continue our descent. Okay, that's all stable, so let's continue our descent, guys. Let us continue our descent. We'll go throttles to idle, reset our autopilot, reset our nav mode, and we'll start descending again to 5 degrees nose down here, guys. Continue our descent here. There we go. We'll throw out these spoilers just to stop our speed climbing too high. So this is the second step of our descent. We'll head down to about 2,500 feet, and then we will work on our deceleration and our approach to the airport as well. There we go. We can see some of this. That is some nice photo scenery. Ignore the clouds up here, but that is some really nice photo scenery there. Beautiful. Nice. Here we are, guys, through the cloud layer. Sweet. Just going to pop open our autopilot panel down here so we can be ready. Ooh, clouds. There we are. About 2,500. We'll go to altitude hold and we'll decelerate for the runway.
Terrain ahead. Terrain ahead.
I'm just going to hold this altitude because it says terrain. I don't think there is any. We're in clouds. You want to find out? Get these spoilers back up, guys. Cool. We'll hold around 4,000 on our approach to the airport. I think that works. Hold this speed as well, guys. There we go. Just keeping an eye on everything here. making sure we're nice and stable. There's room as cloud cover. Terrain radar's fine, there's nothing there, it's all good. Okay, we'll wait for the turn to the next waypoint here. And then we'll fly some vectors onto final. This is my concentrating face. Do not want to crash this plane, do we? Okay, so we'll turn towards our next nav marker. Cool. Okay, when do I want to slow down? Do I want to slow down yet? No, we'll slow down when we're 30 miles from the airport, I think. So I'll just pop this closed for now. So that's sort of another step descent. Right there. So yeah, it's a difficult one to fly, this Tupolev. Definitely a difficult plane to fly. Alright, back to the flight deck. So we're going to start slowing down now. Just let us slow down, we'll drop that gear. Start popping these flaps on now, guys. Let us slow down to about 140, 150 knots now.
Flaps 15. Stabilizer -1.5. Slots extended. Flaps extended.
Keep extending those flaps, keep slowing down here, guys.
Flaps 28.
That's perfect, that will do for our approach speed there. Let's keep extending the flaps.
Stabilizer moving. Flaps 36. Flaps extended.
Alright. So flaps are all the way down. We are stable.
Stabilizer -3.
4,000 feet. Alright, so that's the hard part done there, guys. We've slowed down for approach. Also gonna activate my nose wheel steering again there for when we land. Whew, okay. So I think we're about 40 miles or so from the airport. In approach configuration here, with our flaps down, our gear down, and here we go. Here we are. I do hope you're enjoying the The sheer panic of flying this Tupolev and trying to keep it in the air here. It's always fun. It's a fun plane to fly. I will do it more often. It just takes a lot of concentration here. But I really like this passenger view. I really do. Let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can land it. So, where are we on? So we're about 5 miles before our final turn towards the airport. We're going to want runway 23 at the airport. Okay, cool. So we'll stick with this view for now as we make our final turn, guys. At least the clouds have cleared and we can see what we're doing. That's always something. So as soon as we can see the airport, we'll start vectoring ourselves towards the runway now. It's a little bit windy. It's a little bit windy actually. But hopefully not too bad, hey. This is when you want to be flying an Airbus with its nice sort of auto land systems and that kind of thing. You can see the auto throttles there, just working hard to make sure we stay at a nice speed here. This is it, final turn towards the airport, guys. Should be facing about 100 degrees, yep, cool. So looking at the runway we want, the runway faces sort of this way. So should we overfly the airport? I think we'll overfly the airport and then sort of fly left base onto the runway here. I think that makes sense. Cool. Just be much happier once I can see the airport and we'll be good. The airport scenery is really nice, by the way, really nice custom scenery. Alright, 24 miles away, cool. Can't see it quite yet, as far as I know, guys. It's like a random Russian town down there. And there we go. It's taking some scenery for now, as we do the last 20-something miles towards our airport now. But it's pretty turbulent, guys. It seems to really be struggling to keep us straight in these conditions, so this could be an interesting one as we land here. Could be interesting. Yeah, not liking the look of that turbulence right now. Not liking that at all. Oh well, we'll be fine. We will be fine, guys. Daniela Jackson, thank you so much for the subscription. If you're watching, very much appreciated. I hope you're enjoying the flight as we are on approach to Samara in Russia. Okay, can we see that airport yet, guys? Can we see the airport? There it is. Okay, so which runway do we want? We want the one that's pointing that way. Haha. Hey Daniela, fantastic simulator. It is, isn't it? I do like X-Plane. Okay. So here's what we'll do, guys. We're going to get it into roll mode. And there we are. We're going to sort of fly left base, I'd say. Onto the runway there. There we go, that should do us. Straighten up. So if we pop over to this guy's seat, the airport should be there, over to our right, fantastic. We're going to fly out basically left base and we'll loop round and we'll come back and land on that one there as the plan. Awesome. So yeah, Daniela, I think earlier on, I don't know if YouTube split it into 2 videos or if it's just 1 video, whatever. But earlier on in the stream, we talked through the whole process of starting the Tupolev takeoff, kind of getting up to a climb, took in some nice views. We saw the passenger cabin once we were cruising. So if you pop back and watch those later on, it should look pretty cool. And we are greetings from Sardinia. Yes, I do know Sardinia. Awesome. It's It's quite far away from me. Maybe I should fly to Sardinia sometime. Eh? Is there good scenery? Is there stuff to see there? Just going to keep an eye on where we are compared to that airport, guys. As we just fly past on our left base. Once we're in final, we'll tell the traffic what we're doing. And there we are. Okay. Just we went into roll mode and we ended up climbing, guys. Not cool. Not cool. We do not want to be climbing. It's my mistake. Take roll mode off. We'll light pitch mode. We'll level off. Lucky I spotted that. Awkward. It is very hard, yeah, especially with this plane. I did forget, but when you go into roll mode, it loses your pitch. So we were holding about 4,000 feet. We ended up climbing to 7,000. But just remember, guys, when you go into roll mode, go straight back to pitch mode once you're done with your turn. There we go. Take my advice there. Alright, so here's a plan. I'm going to descend to our final altitude of 2,000 for our final turn. Onto the runway, onto the airport. So we'll go reset pitch mode. Pop that back on. Pop that back on. Drop the throttles, get the spoilers on, and we'll pitch the nose down. We'll get it down to 2,000 feet here, guys. Get it down to 2,000 feet. This is the first time I've flown with Tupolev on stream. I think so far, apart from that small mistake, guys, touch wood, seems to be going fairly well. So just keep it at this sort of pitch, keeping an eye on the speed as well, until we hit 2,000 feet, and we'll make our final right turn towards the airport, and we'll fly her in and land in Samara. Excuse for concentrating face here, guys. It's pretty tough plane to fly, and this is why nobody flies it. It's a bit of a handful, bit of an animal. A Russian bear. Keeping an eye on all this stuff here as we descend. I'll smile once we've landed. I will smile once we've landed the plane. Not yet. Not yet. So at 2,000, autopilot goes back on, pitch mode goes back on. Are we close to the airport? 12 miles, cool, so that's fine. We can start making a right turn fairly soon. Also, need to set our altimeters actually. Yeah, I love the A380, yeah. I really do. 008, right? Cool. And 1008. Lovely. Make sure those altimeters are set. So we know what height we are off the ground here. There we go, 2,000 feet. 2,000 feet, we're going to hold. Altitude and speed, if we can stop freaking out, plane. Thank you. That would be lovely. There we go. Level off at 2,000, guys. Level off at 2,000. Cool. Okay, let's put up the map. There we go. It's our airport just to our right. So let's start turning. So we'll get it into roll mode. Does like to climb when you're turning, it really does. So we'll pop it back to pitch for now. Ah, can you have roll and pitch at the same time? You can. There we are. I've learned something today. You don't activate roll mode, you just turn the heading indicator, the roll thing, and it will maintain your altitude as you're rolling. Cool. There we go. Still learning about this plane, even as I'm flying it. There we go, guys. Okay, let's get that turned off now. Okay, looking for an airport just to the left. Okay, it's about 15 miles away. Should be to our left. Somewhere. We'll start heading towards it. Of course, this is the thing with modern airliners, they'll guide you right onto final. This one you kind of have to vector yourself towards the airport. Current heading's looking pretty good. There we go, save that straight. Alright, see if we can see it now. There we go, one airport, guys. Just up here, that's the runway we want across there. So lovely, lovely! So we flew our left base, learned how the roll mode works, and there we are. So I'm going to roll left a little bit now. Just so I'll have it over my shoulder, and I can fly in to the right. No, not far from landing at all. That's literally the airport there. Just making sure we get ourselves lined up for it. It's a difficult plane to fly, this thing. There we go. That's the airport. Right there. So once we get close enough to turn in, we will turn in towards the runway, and we will put her down. And there we go, it's our passenger view. Hello, Adelva pilot. We're just about to land, hopefully land, at Samara in Russia, just over here. Okay, there we are. I'm going to start turning in now. So we'll roll right a little bit. There's no way I'll be able to see both. There we go. We'll roll right a bit. Straighten up. Okay guys, I think it's time to start hand flying the plane. 8 miles away, lovely. So autopilots can go off, and we can start flying. Just make sure that auto throttle is still on. It is. Cool. Okay. Here we go now guys, hand flying our plane onto the runway here. Hopefully onto the runway. It's like I say, difficult aircraft to fly this. That's runway we want. Right there. Try and flying quite low and shallow as well now. Daniela, I will look. Yeah, I'll look at your channel, and I'll see what you've got. The model of my yoke. This is I'm using a Thrustmaster HOTAS. There we go. Flying is fun, guys, but it's sometimes takes a lot of concentration, especially in a plane like this, you know. Okay, there we go. We can see the PAPI lights, so we'll just descend a little bit more here. A playlist dedicated to planes, sounds good.
Terrain ahead.
Sure, I'm flying a plane.
Terrain ahead.
I know there's terrain, I'm landing. Jesus. Yes, we've got what looks to be a little bit of crosswind here, but nothing too bad.
Approaching 2-3.
Pull up.
A little bit lower now, guys.
Terrain ahead.
Sure.
Terrain ahead.
I wish you could inhibit that during
Terrain
landing, it's
ahead.
really annoying. But there we go. Yeah, a little bit too high now. Very high, actually.
Terrain ahead. Pull up. Pull up.
So annoying.
Sync grade. Sync grade. Sync grade. Sync grade.
Who put the localizer in the middle of the runway? Who does that?
Fifty.
10 meters. 5, 3, 2, 1 meter.
Floating, guys, floating a little bit.
5,000.
There we go!
This ring is on. Spoilers up.
It's a good butter landing, guys. I also love aviation, and I love landings like that. Amazing. We'll take in a replay of that landing in just a minute, guys. But very pleased with that. 78 feet per minute. Butter landing, fantastic. Fantastic. And we learned something about, I learned something about Tupolev, and hopefully showed you guys some stuff as well. Okay, cool.
Remove flaps and landing lights. Turn on taxi lights. Flaps and slats are removed. Stabilizer 0.
So where are we? UWWW. There we go. We'll just head to the terminal, guys. And I buttered. I know, right? Amazing, man. I buttered a Tupolev of all the planes. It just likes to float. I think maybe that's why. But happy days, guys. That's a success. You know, yeah, it makes up for the small issues we had with Streamlabs earlier on. It's a good landing, and that's why I do this, guys. Butter is a smooth landing. A butter is a smooth landing. I think it's below 90 feet per minute or something. Welcome, guys, to Samara. We delivered the England team safely for their quarter-final match tomorrow. Thank you very much, Daniela. It's very much appreciated. We'll see some replays in a minute as well. Very happy with that, guys. Very happy indeed. Okay, so we'll head over to the terminal building right at the end, purely because it looks so nice. It's a really nice scenery for Samara. I can't remember who built it, but it's really well put together, and a lot of detail in it as well. So we'll park up, get some replays, and then I will leave you guys to get on with your day. As we just park up here. Long taxi is long, but at least we get to admire this scenery in this custom terminal building. There you go, Samara. Of course, got to wish the England team luck for their match on Saturday as they play in this city. Get rid of that now. Alright, so we'll turn in here. Yeah, let's try and line up with this one now. There we are.
Parking brake on.
Parking brake on. Everybody, welcome to Samara in Russia. Shall we grab some replays of that butter landing? So let's disconnect from Sportbox, toggle replay mode. Excuse the jerky bounce movement here, guys. Perfect. Go to runway view, and here we are. Andrei, you're just about to see the landing, my man. Let's just speed her up a little bit. You can really see how much it was moving around in that wind there, guys. Wow. See it just tilting from side to side. And here we go. Not bad, given the conditions, guys. Not bad at all. You should definitely try this simulator, Daniela. It's really, really good fun. And here we go. I find this quite easy to land, this plane, just because it's so floaty. Look at that. Just let it float, let her drop. Fantastic, guys. There we go. And let's see what the passengers thought here, guys, shall we?
50.
There we go. So yeah, everybody, I hope you liked that. You liked this butter landing. Happy days all round after such a long flight. Ah, there we go. Barely even knew we landed, guys. Barely even knew we landed. Okay, so for the last time, welcome to Samara in Russia, guys. The next stream is on Wednesday at 1 PM UTC. I'm not quite sure what we're doing yet, but if England get knocked out of the World Cup, we will be flying them home. But guys, excellent, you've liked us, Daniela, thank you very much. But guys, thank you so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed the stream. I will see you on Wednesday, but until then, take care, guys, and remember, you can always go around.